JBN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, man injured during shootout with police in Clarendon. A man is now hospitalized under police guard following a confrontation with a lawman on Baylis Avenue, Bucks Common in Clarendon, about 5:50 a.m. today. He has not been identified. The police said a Glock 17 pistol and several rounds of ammunition were seized during the incident. The matter has also been reported to the Independent Commission of Investigation and the Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau. Man held with Mini Uzi in St. James. A Mini Uzi firearm and 13 cartridges were seized during a joint police-military operation on Bressett Road, Cambridge in St. James yesterday. The police said one man was taken into custody. However, his identity has been withheld pending further investigation. The police said the man was seen on the roadway acting in a manner which arose their suspicion. He was then approached, searched, and the firearm found. The incident happened about 6:30 a.m. St. Andrew businessman ordered to forfeit over $17 million to government. St. Andrew businessman Winston Graham is to forfeit over $17.1 million to the government following a successful court application by the Financial Investigations Division, FID. The order was handed down in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court Civil Division at Sutton Street last Friday by Justice Stephanie Orr. In addition to the forfeiture, Graham was also ordered to pay a part of the legal expenses incurred by the FID. Police investigators seized $17,175,000 at Graham's property in Smoky Vale in 2012 as they executed a search warrant. Graham could not provide proof of how those funds were acquired, according to the FID. The cash was seized, along with a 2012 BMW motor car. FID then sought the forfeiture of the money under the Proceeds of Crime Act. Graham's run-in with the law began on June 7, 2012. On that date, Narcotics Corps, acting on information, obtained a search warrant under the Dangerous Drugs Act to search a property on Deanery Drive in St. Andrew belonging to Franklin Thompson. Upon reaching the premises, a silver Toyota Mark X motor car attempted to exit but was prevented from doing so by the cops. Graham, who was the driver, and Thompson, who was the passenger, were seen in the car. FID says the vehicle was searched and 10 parcels of cocaine weighing just over 22 pounds were discovered hidden in the trunk. Subsequently, the narcotics police obtained a warrant to search Graham's property where the money was found. Reacting to the outcome, FID's Director of Legal Services, Courtney Smith, said the case should send a strong message of deterrence to anybody involved in crime or planning to enter a life of crime with the intention of benefiting from that crime. Jamaica has been preparing itself and bolstering its capabilities to deal with criminal activities and the proceeds of crime. State agencies have been working together to reduce the benefit from crime generally. Regardless of the outcome from the criminal charges, the proceeds of crime aspect of it can proceed and will usually yield a result similar to what we have in this instance, said Smith. In 2020, the FID successfully forfeited over $4.83 million and US $22,500 in cash. Jitters in Augustown after news that dog paw ordered released. There were jitters yesterday in Augustown and the surrounding communities following a Court of Appeal order that alleged gang leader Christopher Dogpaw Linton be set free after serving more than 7 years in prison for illegal possession of firearm and shooting with intent charges. Linton and his co-accused, Michael Allen, were convicted in 2013 for shooting at 2 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force who had been traveling in a service vehicle along Tavern Drive, St. Andrew, in April of 2010. Both men were sentenced to 15 years in prison for opening fire on the police and another 15 years for illegal possession of firearm. The sentences were ordered to run concurrently. Yesterday, however, the Court of Appeal ruled that the evidence in the case where identification was concerned was unreliable. An appeal was allowed, the conviction quashed, the sentence set aside, and a verdict of acquittal entered for both men. With news that Linton should be back on the streets again by today, Venetia Phillips, counsel for the Pepin Division, which includes Augustown and the surrounding areas, appealed to Linton to steer clear of any activity that would be considered wrongdoing. I can only impress upon him, having been away for so long, not to return to a place that caused him, in the very first place, to be named and subsequently arrested, and not to engage in any gang-related activities that would put him, citizens, and the police at loggerheads. I would urge him to try, as best as is possible, to stay out of trouble. We, too, as councillors, have to respect the system of justice, and when that system speaks, we must, accordingly, say thanks to the court and encourage persons returning to the community to, as best as possible, conform, avoid confrontation, negativity, and violence, she said yesterday in an interview. She said that once she comes across Linton within the division, she will deliver to him personally a message of encouragement. Tavern is where he really hails from. As counsel of the Pepin Division, I am sure that once Linton is in this space, I may very well encounter him. If I do, I will definitely express to him my expectations and give encouragement that he uses the opportunity to just reorganize himself into a citizen that the police won't need to be chasing, and where people won't need to be speculating as to whether or not he's back to cause mayhem, but that the people can feel comfortable that they have nothing to fear from him, his presence, or his influence, she added. Stephanie Lindsay, Superintendent of Police in charge of the Corporate Communications Unit, said yesterday that the police, like all Jamaica, had only just heard of the Court of Appeal's decision, but said no formal discussions had taken place regarding Linton's return to the streets. Holness shoots down call for a special police squad as he defends the government's anti-crime plan. With almost 400 murders across the island since the start of the year, and increasingly louder calls for the government to introduce drastic measures to deal with the criminals, Prime Minister Andrew Holness remains adamant that there is no room for a special police squad in Jamaica to track down killers. According to Holness, when the country's murder rate saw an unmitigated rise in the 1990s, the response was to form police squads and adopt a hard policing approach, which did not work then and would not work now. We made it clear in 2016 that this was not what we want for our country, and I don't need anybody from outside to tell me that is not what I want. I don't need any human rights group to tell me that. This is not what Jamaica will do, Holness said. He said the strategy being used by his administration includes increased forensic support for police, tighter control of Jamaica's borders to reduce the access to guns, and greater investment in Jamaica's security apparatus. We can't rely only on witness statements. We have to invest in the science and the forensics. We have made that investment in the cyber forensics, in terms of DNA and chemical analysis and so forth. And you will see that the police have been able to quickly interdict and arrest persons after major crimes have been committed, said Holness, as he pointed to the number of headline-grabbing crimes which the police have solved in recent times. Holness said he has told the Commissioner of Police that while they have been doing very well in solving crimes, he wants more efforts to prevent these things from happening. And you will hear in another few weeks some of the measures which we'll be putting in place to assist with the preventative side of things. The Prime Minister said the police will also move to address the reprisal killings, which make up a large part of the country's murder numbers. When I read what he said about crime, and everybody giving their opinion about crime, and some people are making sense and others quipped Holness, he argued that crime is multidimensional and the government's response is also multidimensional and all areas are being addressed. We are making the investment. There's no question about it, and we are seeing results. However, there's a national mood which rightfully is frustrated with governments, and how they have dealt with crime before. There's a national mood of outrage, because while we can say we have flattened the crime curve, we cannot say we have flattened the violence curve. So the level of violence has increased in the real terms, and from what the public is consuming. So the strategy is not just looking at the police dimension. We need to have a strong national security apparatus to manage our borders, manage our water, manage our ports, and manage the corruption of law enforcement officers, said Holness. So this idea that there's no crime plan and so forth, when I hear it I get very frustrated, because we have spent a lot of time, more than any other government has, in doing comprehensive review of how to treat with this situation, and at the same time, bring down police killings and extrajudicial killings, declared Holness, as he argued that any objective onlooker would say the government is trying even though it's not yet satisfied with the outcome. 5 more COVID deaths, 186 new infections. Jamaica recorded 186 new cases of COVID-19 and 5 additional deaths yesterday, bringing the death toll to 697 and the total number of cases to 43,240. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the 5 deaths were all recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew and included 2 men, ages 64 and 84, as well as 3 women, ages 83, 74, and 60. Of the 186 newly reported cases, there were 102 females and 82 males, with ages ranging from 49 days to 91 years. The genders of 2 of the cases are still under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 59, St. Catherine 28, Manchester 19, Clarendon 18, St. Anne 14, St. Elizabeth 13, St. James, Westmoreland, St. Thomas 9 each, St. Mary 5, Portland 2, and Trelawney 1. The country also recorded 121 recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 19,369. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.